It started with a kiss that was supposed to melt hearts, but now it's melting the internet. Just days ago, Amara La Negra went live and dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the entire love and hip-hop fandom. What fans believed was a blossoming love story between her and Safaree turned out to be nothing more than a well-scripted lie. Yes, fake. She admitted it herself, live, raw, and unfiltered. It was just for the show. It was never real. The internet exploded. Fans felt betrayed, cast members are allegedly furious, and insiders claim this wasn't just a harmless TV stunt. It may have been the spark behind real-life breakdowns, family fallout, and one massive feud brewing off camera. Now, everyone's pointing fingers. Shay Johnson is calling her out. Von Shai is back in the mix, and even Safaree himself seems to be scrambling to control the narrative. But why now? Why did Amara finally confess? And what was the real cost of faking a romance in front of millions? Grab your tea, because this is not just a reality TV plot twist. This is the behind-the-scenes explosion nobody saw coming. And trust me, it gets way worse from here. Under the soft glow of stage lights and the filtered perfection of Instagram posts, everything looked real. Amara La Negra and Safaree were laughing, flirting, holding hands at events, even sharing private moments on their lives. Fans were eating it up. But what nobody knew was that behind those smiles, a very different story was unfolding. One scripted, rehearsed, and carefully edited for cameras. What seemed like genuine love was nothing more than a deal made behind the scenes. And now, that deal has backfired spectacularly. It all began 6 months ago, when Love and Hip Hop Miami producers allegedly approached Amara with a pitch that sounded like TV gold. Pair up with Safaree, build a storyline around a fiery romance, and rake in the views. At first, she resisted. After all, she had just become a mother, and the last thing she wanted was to turn her personal life into a performance. But then came the promises, more screen time, a larger storyline, and a potential spin-off deal. It was tempting, too tempting, especially when she saw how quickly her social media engagement began to spike with just a few teasing posts involving Safaree. Amara's best friend warned her. In a now-deleted DM leaked by a fan page, the friend wrote, "You sure this is worth it? Playing with hearts just to trend?" But Amara, caught between motherhood, fame, and financial pressure, ignored the warning signs. She jumped in headfirst. What started as a scripted romance soon took on a life of its own. Fans began shipping them, flooding comment sections with heart emojis and marriage predictions. Safaree played along too, maybe a little too well. Insiders claim he began blurring the lines between fake and real, showing up at Amara's place unannounced, bringing gifts for her twins, and even calling her mom mommy on set. It was all part of the act, but something about it felt unsettling. Backstage, tension started to rise. Cast members weren't buying the love story. Shay Johnson, in particular, made her doubts known. During a heated off-camera moment, she allegedly confronted Amara with the words, "Girl, you really think this is cute? You out here playing with fans' feelings. For what? Followers?" Amara brushed it off at first, but deep down, the words cut. Still, she kept going. The paychecks were good, the attention was intoxicating, and for a while, the lie felt easy to live with, but cracks began to show. In one now viral live session, Safaree appeared distracted, avoiding eye contact with Amara and giving vague answers. When fans asked about their future together, "We're just vibing," he muttered, while Amara forced a smile. The comments lit up instantly. "He doesn't even like her fur. This ain't real. Amara, blink twice if you're trapped." What fans didn't know was that behind the scenes, Amara had already decided to end the act. She was tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of defending a love that never existed. And worst of all, tired of lying to people who genuinely supported her. The turning point came when Von Shai Taylor Morales, Safaree's ex and mother of his child, entered the picture. She wasn't buying the Amara Safaree storyline for a second, and she made it known publicly. In a now-deleted post, Von Shai accused Amara of mocking her daughter's medical condition and using Safaree to climb the fame ladder. She even posted screenshots of private DMs suggesting that Amara had laughed at a cruel comment made about her child. Amara went silent after that. Fans waited for a response, but days turned into weeks, and still, she said nothing. The silence was deafening. Until, one night, completely unannounced, Amara went live. She looked tired, no filters, no glam. just raw emotion. "I owe y'all the truth," she began, her voice shaking slightly. "Everything you saw between me and Safaree, it wasn't real. It was never real. It was a storyline, something we agreed on for the show." The comments exploded instantly. Some fans were heartbroken. Others were furious. Many said they felt betrayed, used, manipulated for ratings. Some even went so far as to unfollow her in real time during the live. Amara wiped a tear from her cheek and continued, "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was trying to secure my place. This industry isn't kind to single moms, especially Afro-Latina women. I did what I had to do." But not everyone was ready to forgive. Shay Johnson, watching the live, wasted no time. She jumped onto her own platform minutes later saying, "See, I told y'all months ago this was fake, and now look." Now she crying on live like she ain't know what she was doing. The internet was divided. Some stood with Amara, praising her for her honesty and bravery. Others said it was too little too late. The damage was done. As the live continued, a name popped up in the chat that made Amara visibly freeze. "Safaree!" He typed only one word. "Wow." Amara stared at the screen for a moment, then ended the live abruptly. What happened next would only deepen the mystery and escalate the drama. The moment Amara ended the live, the internet exploded into a frenzy. Fans flooded Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, dissecting every second of her confession. Screen recordings were reposted within minutes, and the hashtag #AmaraFakedit began trending across multiple platforms. People weren't just reacting, they were investigating. Clips from past episodes, interviews, and lives were being pulled apart frame by frame. It wasn't just about the lie anymore, it was about how deep the deception went and who else was in on it. Safaree, who had stayed mostly quiet during the public fallout, finally broke his silence. He posted a cryptic story with a black background and the words, "Truth always comes out, eventually." Fans weren't sure what to make of it. Was he taking a shot at Amara or distancing himself from the drama completely? But then came the real shocker. A leaked voice note surfaced. In the voice note, allegedly sent by Safaree to a close friend, he said, "Man, I told her this would backfire. I said don't mess with people's emotions like that, especially not with fans who really support her. I was just playing my part," but she started believing it was real. Fans went wild. If the voice note was real, it suggested that even Safaree had reservations about the fake relationship. But the part that hurt the most was the idea that Amara had gotten emotionally attached, even when it was supposed to be just a role. Meanwhile, backstage at Love and Hip Hop Miami, the tension was so thick it could be cut with a knife. Producers were scrambling. Some insiders claimed the showrunners were furious that Amara exposed the storyline as it threatened to unravel other plot points still in development. Others said they were relieved. It gave them more content to spin into the next season. Shay Johnson, however, was not letting it go. On her own live, she pulled up old footage of her warning Amara not to play with fire. "Remember this?" she said, playing a clip where she told Amara, "You gon' lose more than fans if this blows up in your face." She smirked. "Told y'all, I don't just talk for nothing." But it wasn't just Shay throwing shots. Vonche came back louder than ever, claiming Amara had not only faked a relationship, but mocked a child's illness while doing it. "You don't use a child's medical condition as a joke," she said, through tears, in a raw, unfiltered video. "You don't respond to a hateful comment about a kid with a laughing emoji and think people won't come for you. I don't care if it was fake or for the show. Kids are off limits. Limits." That accusation was a breaking point. Several celebrities from the reality TV circuit chimed in. Bambi wrote on her story, "This clout era is disgusting. Everything for views? Sad." Erica Mena posted a shady tweet saying, "Some people will sell their soul and their dignity just to stay trending." But through all this noise, Amara remained silent. She didn't clap back. She didn't go live again. She disappeared from the public eye for 3 days straight, which in internet time felt like forever. When she finally reappeared, it wasn't through a dramatic video or a slick Instagram post. It was through a blurry paparazzi photo of her, leaving a restaurant in tears, shielding her face from cameras. No makeup, no glam, just raw emotion. Fans speculated she was meeting with lawyers, possibly planning to take action against those accusing her of mocking Vonche's child. But the story took another shocking turn when a former Love and Hip, top crew member anonymously leaked a text thread between Amara and a producer. In the texts, Amara appeared reluctant about the storyline. One message read, "This is getting out of hand. I didn't sign up to be the villain. They're going to eat me alive." The producer allegedly responded, "You're doing great. Trust the process." The more hate, the more views. This revelation flipped the conversation once again. Now fans weren't just angry at Amara. They were questioning how much of the drama was orchestrated by the network. Was she just a pawn in a bigger game? People started sharing clips of other reality TV stars who had confessed to similar manipulation. Tammy Rivera once said in an interview that producers would pit you against your own friends just to get a good scene. Even Carly Red reposted the leaks with the caption, "And y'all thought this was all real? LOL." With the narrative spiraling out of control, Amara's team issued a short statement through her publicist. Amara La Negra acknowledges the emotional impact of recent revelations. She never intended to harm anyone and deeply regrets any pain caused. She asks for privacy and healing. But it wasn't enough. Fans wanted more. They wanted answers. They wanted to know whether Amara really did laugh at a child's illness. They wanted to know how long the lie had gone on. They wanted to know what Safaree knew and when. Then, out of nowhere, another twist dropped. A DM surfaced showing Safaree allegedly flirting with Shay Johnson during the height of his relationship with Amara. The message read, "You always kept it real. Should have rocked with you instead," Shay replied with a heart emoji. Fans went into meltdown mode. Was Safaree playing both sides? Was the whole thing a web of lies stacked on more lies? And most importantly, was this only the beginning? Because deep within all the chaos, a new rumor began to swirl. A rumor that would blow the roof off everything. And it involved a baby. The baby rumor didn't just come out of thin air. It started with a single tweet that read, "Amara ain't tell y'all about the baby yet, huh?" It came from a burner account with barely any followers, but within hours, the tweet had gone viral. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Blogs picked it up. Instagram tea pages began digging. People were tagging each other nonstop, asking, "What baby?" Within a day, more so-called receipts surfaced. An alleged clinic appointment under Amara's real name. Blurry photos of her outside a medical center in Miami. And then, what really made people stop scrolling? A grainy photo of a sonogram, posted to a private story with the caption, "Didn't plan this, but here we are." The internet erupted. Was Amara pregnant again? And if so, was Safaree the father? No one had answers, but the speculation grew louder with every passing hour. What made things even more complicated was Safaree's silence. He didn't deny it. He didn't confirm it. He just posted a single gif of a man walking away from an explosion without looking back. People were furious. Fans who had defended Amara after her live confession now felt blindsided again. One commenter wrote, "She said it was all fake, so how'd she end up pregnant by him?" Another said, "This whole season needs to be called Love and Lies." Shay Johnson wasted no time jumping back in. She posted on her story, "I'm not surprised. You fake a relationship, play with fans' emotions, and now this. Girl, please." In a follow-up post, she added, "I hope that baby isn't just another storyline too." But not everyone was attacking. Some fans argued that even if the relationship was fake at first, things could have turned real behind the scenes. Maybe they got caught up. Maybe feelings got involved. Maybe, just maybe, the baby was real. But the love wasn't. Amara stayed quiet again, but her silence only fueled the flames. The pressure was mounting. People were now not just calling her out for faking a relationship, they were accusing her of orchestrating an entire pregnancy scandal for clout. Then came the next twist. Amara's mom, Ana Maria Oleaga, did an interview on a Spanish-language morning show. She didn't name names, but she said something that stopped everyone in their tracks. "My daughter is a strong woman. People have lied about her, manipulated her, and now someone she trusted has betrayed her again." Viewers were convinced she was talking about Saferee. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Maybe Amara had been used. Maybe Safaree played along until it no longer served him. Maybe the fake relationship had real consequences, and she was left to pick up the pieces. And just when things couldn't get more chaotic, a voice message leaked. It was allegedly a recording of Safaree on a call with a friend saying, "I told her from the jump, I don't do kids no more." She knew what it was. Now she want to act surprised? The backlash was instant. Fans began dragging Safaree online, calling him a manipulator, a clout chaser, and worse. Some even went back to past scandals he'd been in, saying he did Erica the same way. While Safaree was catching heat, Amara suddenly reappeared, this time not through a post or live, but in an emotional sit-down interview with a major entertainment outlet. The interview, clearly pre-recorded, showed her raw, vulnerable, and breaking down in tears. "I didn't ask for this," she said, wiping her eyes. "I was trying to be strong. I was trying to play the game, but the game played me," she confirmed. The pregnancy, but she didn't name the father. "I don't think that part matters right now," she said. "What matters is that I'm trying to protect my peace, my children, and my future." The interview was only 20 minutes long, but it set the internet on fire. Everyone had questions. If Safaree wasn't the father, who was? If he was, why wouldn't she say it? And if the whole romance was fake, why had it spiraled so far out of control? And then came the moment no one expected. During the final 2 minutes of the interview, Amara pulled out her phone and played a recording. It was audio of a phone call between her and Safaree. In it, he can be heard saying, "Just keep it quiet. All right? It's not good for my image if people think it was real. We both agreed on the terms. Don't mess this up for me," the interviewer asked her directly. "Did you feel like he used you?" And Amara nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "And I think I let it happen." The internet didn't just react, it exploded. The story had now gone from fake romance to emotional manipulation, possible betrayal, and a child caught in the middle of it all. And fans were divided yet again. Some said Amara should have known better. Others said Safaree was the true villain all along. One fan posted, "Reality TV is destroying these people's real lives and we're watching it like entertainment." And the sad truth, that post wasn't wrong. Because beneath the lights, behind the cameras, beyond the scripts, this wasn't just a show anymore. It was war. And no one was winning. The fallout from Amara's interview rippled far beyond the world of reality TV. Blogs, podcasts, radio, shows, and even mainstream media outlets picked up the story. Hashtags like Amara Exposed, Mas Saferee Scandal, and Mas Reality T gone wrong dominated social media. But while the public feasted on the chaos, those closest to Amara were watching her unravel. In real time, close friends who had stayed silent during the earlier drama started speaking out. One insider posted anonymously, "Amara didn't fake everything. Yeah, the relationship started as a storyline, but she caught real feelings. It stopped being acting a long time ago." That one post was shared over 50,000 times in a day. Fans latched onto it, suddenly rethinking the whole narrative. Maybe Amara wasn't just a mastermind behind a fake love story. Maybe she was a woman who got caught in her own web and was now bleeding in public. Amara's ex, who had been completely out of the spotlight during the Safaree saga, also made a cryptic post. "Ain't nothing worse than seeing someone you once loved get broken by a game they didn't even design." Fans started speculating that he might come forward with more truths, or even step back into her life. While Amara tried to stay strong, Safaree, on the other hand, seemed completely unfazed. He was spotted partying in Atlanta, smiling for cameras, sipping drinks with influencers, and posting gym selfies like nothing had happened. It infuriated fans who were emotionally invested in the story. Some accused him of emotional abuse, others of weaponizing women's vulnerability for clout. And when someone confronted him in the comments, he replied with a laughing emoji. But the drama wasn't done evolving. Love and Hip Hop Miami producers, who had refused to comment up until now, finally released a statement. They said, "Reality television is a reflection of real life, and sometimes real emotions emerge in unexpected ways. We do not script relationships. We only document what unfolds." The statement did nothing to calm the storm. Instead, it raised new questions. If the producers weren't scripting it, were they knowingly exploiting emotional breakdowns for ratings? Were they encouraging cast members to manufacture drama and then sitting back while lives unraveled? Former cast members began speaking out too. One woman wrote, "They told me to accuse my man of cheating just to spice up the season. When I refused, they cut me out of 3 episodes." Another said, "They gave me a fake text thread to read on camera. That was the last day I filmed." The narrative had shifted from just a fake relationship to a full-blown expose on how reality television manipulates its stars. and right in the center of the storm stood Amara, wounded, exhausted, and under fire from all sides. But she wasn't done. In a shocking Instagram story posted late at night, she shared a black screen with only one sentence written: "I'm releasing everything. No edits, no filters, no protection." Fans knew something was coming. And just hours later, Amara dropped a 43-minute YouTube video titled "My Truth." In it, she sat alone, no glam, no flashy lighting, just her and the camera, and she told everything. How she was approached to join the storyline, how the producers allegedly promised her extra scenes, increased pay, and bonus checks if she kept the romance going, how Safaree started getting too involved, blurring boundaries, calling her late at night, sending mixed signals, how she started believing there might be something real, only to find out he was saying the exact same sweet nothings to someone else on set. "I should have known better," she said in the video, her voice cracking. "But I was vulnerable. I was trying to make a comeback. I was trying to give my kids a better future." She talked about the emotional toll, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the online hate. She showed screenshots of messages from producers asking her to play it up more, and even one that read, "We need one more kiss scene. Make it count." She said, "I wasn't acting anymore. I was breaking." And then she confirmed what fans had been dying to know. "Yes," she said softly, "I'm pregnant." She didn't name the father. She didn't go into details, but the pain in her eyes said enough. She added, "I'm not asking for sympathy. I just want my truth out there before someone else twists it." The video went viral instantly. Within minutes, thousands of comments poured in, some supporting her, some calling her manipulative, others saying they were done with reality TV altogether. One fan wrote, "This ain't entertainment anymore. This is emotional warfare." Another said, "We laughed, we judged, and we forgot these people are human." The video became a trending topic on every major platform. Celebrities began chiming in. Cardi B reposted a clip from the video with the caption, "Y'all be doing too much for cameras? Protect your peace?" Trina commented, "Love and hip-hop ain't worth losing yourself over." Even Safaree, after hours of silence, finally responded with a vague tweet. Everyone's got a version of the truth. But at this point, most people weren't interested in his version. They had seen the tears. They had heard the cracks in Amara's voice. And no amount of spin could undo the rawness of what she had shared. But despite the emotional confessions and public support, there was still one piece missing: the DNA, the confirmation, the final twist. The whispers turned to questions, and the questions became a storm. Whose baby is it? The internet was obsessed. Despite Amara's long and emotional confession, one thing still lingered in the air like smoke after fire: the identity of the baby's father. Fans weren't satisfied with half-truths anymore. They wanted proof. They wanted closure. They wanted receipts. And they got it. Early one morning, a popular gossip blog dropped the bombshell. The headline read, "Exclusive DNA test confirms. Safaree is the father of Amara's unborn child." The post included what appeared to be a lab report, cropped, watermarked, and stamped by an anonymous source. Underneath it, the caption read, "He tried to hide it. She tried to move past it. Now the truth is out. There's no more denying it." Fans lost it. In less than an hour, the blog crashed from traffic. Screen recordings flooded TikTok, reaction. Videos popped up on YouTube, and Twitter turned into a war zone. Some people screamed, "We knew it!" while others accused both Amara and Safaree of dragging fans through an emotional circus, only to end up right back at the beginning. But it wasn't over. Safaree responded within minutes, but not with an apology or even confirmation. Instead, he posted a video in his car, laughing sarcastically, saying, "Funny how the world wants to believe everything they read. Y'all keep playing detective, but remember, even fake papers look real online." He winked, then ended the video. But his smug attitude didn't sit well. People called him out for being dismissive, insensitive, and manipulative. One fan commented, "This ain't a joke anymore. There's a baby involved. Grow up." Another wrote, "If you're not the dad, take the test again. On camera. Prove it." As the backlash against Safaree grew louder, Amara stayed silent for a while. Her team released a vague statement saying, "Amara La Negra is focusing on her health, her children, and her mental well-being. At this time, she will not be engaging with false narratives or online speculation." But behind the scenes, things were getting even messier. A leaked audio recording surfaced, this time allegedly from a tense phone call between Safaree and a show producer. In it, Safaree could be heard saying, "If she's pregnant, that's on her. We agreed this was just for TV. I ain't trying to be locked down with a storyline baby." The phrase "storyline baby" lit the internet on fire. It was cruel. It was cold. And for many, it confirmed everything they feared about Safaree's role in this entire mess. And just when it seemed like the chaos couldn't go further, Shay Johnson re-entered the spotlight, this time with her own twist. Shay posted a live video titled, "Since everyone's spilling tea, here's mine." She claimed she had messages from Safaree that went back months, while he was supposedly in love with Amara. One of them read, "This Amara thing wild, right? But it's all just for the show. You know I'd rather pull up on you anyway." She showed timestamps, screenshots, and even voice notes of Safaree calling Amara annoying and too clingy. Fans were stunned. Amara had been humiliated on screen, emotionally manipulated behind closed doors, and now left to raise a child while the man involved flirted with her friend behind her back. Shay ended her live with a direct shot. "Amara sis, I told you, he's for everybody. Stop acting like you didn't know. You didn't know." Amara didn't respond publicly, but a close friend of hers posted a story showing Amara crying backstage at a recent event. The friend wrote, "Y'all don't see what this is doing to her. She's trying to stay strong, but she's breaking. Y'all wanted drama. Well, here's the aftermath." The line hit hard. Even die-hard fans of the show began turning against the franchise itself. People demanded that VH1 release a statement or cancel upcoming scenes involving Safaree online. Petitions began circulating. Hashtags like Manjur Protect Amara, Dark Boycott Saferee, and Nandur Stop Reality Exploitation started trending. The pressure finally pushed Amara to speak. One last time. In a tearful live stream, she addressed everything: the pregnancy, the manipulation, the betrayal, and finally, the DNA. "Yes, he's the father," she whispered, barely holding it together. "But he doesn't want this. Not really. And I can't force him to care. So I won't." She paused, then added, "But this baby is mine. This baby is loved. And no storyline, no ratings, no man is going to change that." Her words struck like lightning. The comments filled with hearts, prayers, and messages of support. Other single mothers shared their stories. Women who had experienced betrayal flooded the chat with solidarity. The mood had shifted. What began as scandal was transforming into something deeper. Amara, for the first time, looked at peace, broken, yes, but rebuilding. And that, somehow, became the most powerful part of all. But as the world began rallying around her, one final question remained unanswered. Would Safaree show up when the baby arrived? Days passed. Then weeks. The buzz slowly faded from the front pages of gossip blogs, but the internet never truly forgot. Every time Amara posted a picture of her growing baby bump, it reignited a flood of speculation. Fans filled her comments with both love and warnings. "Stay strong, queen," one wrote, while another added, "I hope Safaree stays far away." But the silence from Safaree became louder than any statement he could have made. No response, no apology, no acknowledgement of the baby. And as Amara entered her third trimester, fans noticed something even more heartbreaking. He wasn't there. No baby shower posts, no hospital visits, no dad-to-be energy, just gym videos, parties, and promotional appearances, as if nothing had ever happened. But then one night, everything shifted again. A now deleted video surfaced of Safaree at a club in Atlanta. He looked tipsy, laughing with friends, when someone off-camera shouted, "Ain't you having a baby with Amara?" Safaree's reaction? A smirk. And then with a shrug, he said, "Not my responsibility anymore." The internet exploded all over again. People were furious. Blogs reposted the video with captions like, "Safaree disowns unborn child," and "Amara deserves better." The backlash was swift, brutal, and unforgiving. Even celebrities who had stayed silent began to speak up. Spice tweeted, "That man don't respect women or himself. Disgusting." Bambi simply wrote, "Karma don't miss." As the backlash raged, Amara stayed quiet for 2 full days. Then, just as the noise was peaking, she posted a photo on her Instagram, black and white, soft lighting, her hands resting gently on her belly. The caption was simple but powerful. "This child is my blessing, not my burden." It became one of her most liked posts ever. Meanwhile, rumors began to swirl again, this time about VH1. Insiders claimed the network was scrambling to restructure the upcoming season of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Allegedly, producers were discussing cutting Safaree out entirely or refocusing the storyline around Amara's single motherhood journey. Others whispered about a possible special episode, a sit-down with Amara, hosted by a neutral party, where she would finally tell her story in full. And then came the biggest surprise of all. Amara received an invitation to appear on a high-profile daytime talk show. Not just any show, but one that had previously featured the likes of Cardi B, Tamar Braxton, and Keisha Cole. The episode was promoted as reclaiming your power when reality TV goes too far. When the day of the taping arrived, fans waited, anxiously for clips to drop. And when they did, it was clear. This wasn't just an interview, it was a reckoning. Amara walked onto the stage in a soft cream dress, her baby bump visible, her hair in loose curls. The audience gave her a standing ovation, but she didn't smile. Her face was calm, focused. This was her moment. "I believed I had control," she said, voice firm. "I thought I was managing the storyline. I thought I could balance being a mother, an entertainer, and a woman in love, even if that love wasn't real. But what I didn't realize was how quickly fiction can turn into emotional truth, and how easy it is to lose yourself when everyone's watching." The host leaned in, asking gently, "If you could go back, would you still do it?" Amara hesitated. Her eyes watered. "No," she said. "Not like this. Not if it meant losing my peace. Not if it meant letting someone treat me like I was disposable." The crowd went silent. You could feel the weight of her words. Then came the question everyone was waiting for. "Do you want Safaree involved in the baby's life?" Amara looked down for a moment. When she looked up, her eyes were steady. "If he wants to show up, he knows where to find us. But I'm not waiting. I'm not begging. This child deserves love without confusion. I've cried enough for both of us." The audience erupted into applause. After the episode aired, the narrative changed once again. This wasn't about a fake romance anymore. It wasn't about clout, followers, or even betrayal. This was about a woman finding strength in the middle of public chaos and choosing to rise. In the days that followed, Amara's following grew. Brands reached out. Women flooded her DMs with support. Even castmates who once stayed silent messaged her privately to say, "We see you now." And Safaree? He went quiet. No posts, no appearances, no responses. Some say his team told him to lay low. Others say he finally realized the damage he caused. But regardless, one thing became clear. The spotlight had moved on, and Amara had taken center stage, not as a character in someone else's story, but as the author of her own. Because in the end, the biggest twist wasn't the fake romance, the pregnancy reveal, or the betrayal. It was Amara's decision to stop playing a role and start living in her truth. Because trust us, the next chapter is coming, and it might just change everything. Everything.